Muhammad Zarir bin Abdullah is a master at his craft with over 23 years of experience as a woodcarver. He brings beautiful wood carving works which are refined and stunning into reality. Zarir is a progressive artisan whose results are measured in the dedication and commitment that he has to offer. Muhammad Zarir started his wood carving journey in 1998. He worked at Wanpo Art Gallery for 13 years before setting up his own studio called Laka OK Studio in 2011 for 10 years. As for the synthesis of the client study, Muhammad Zarir wanted to promote his studio, which is the Laka OK Studio. Secondly, he wanted to apply lots of floral motifs such as the lotus motif and the sunflower motif into the design of his studio, as these are his favorite motifs. Thirdly, adding a proper reception space since visitors must inform him before visiting his workshop. Fourthly, designing a gallery that can display his works since he doesn't have one. Fifth, providing adequate space or storage to allocate the machines since he has limited available machines. Sixth, provide a bigger working space because his current workshop is small. And lastly, applying Malay contemporary design into the workshop and studio.
The synthesis of the first precedent study about Tan Long Bay Gallery, Vietnam. The concept inspired by the context surrounding sea view. It has long panoramic frame horizontally facing toward the west view. Design open corridor and landscape to extend the use of the building. The space is featured in this building, sale area, and it is a public space, show gallery, and it contains a show gallery exhibition and it's facing the good view. The lobby and it's a public space, view toward the sea, quick access to the users. The tech and staff area, which is a private space. Washroom, which is a semi-private space for the staff and for the users. Theater, which is a semi-public space. It is a dark space and no need for the viewing. Workshop space, which is a private space facing the best view. The second synthesis for the precedent study about the C and Z Carving Art Studio, which is mainly built out of concrete. It's an excellent water resistance, which can withstand in water without serious deterioration. And it's a high temperature resistant building, and the building is utilizing the natural ventilation and daylight. The building has a lot of open space and windows to improve the airflow and natural lighting. Now the building has 3 levels, the first level, the second level, the third level. For the privacy of each level, at the first level we can see the red zone of the building is a private space and the green zone of the building is a public space. And for the second level, we can see by the red area it is a private area and the blue area it's a semi-public area. And for the third level, it's a fully private space. The third thesis is for the precedent study about complex craft Kuala Lumpur. It's a native Malaysian concept, characterized by the Malaysian Terengganu architecture design, featuring panoramic view of the countryside with a Malaysian themed landscape. Walls, doors and windows are using timber materials and Malaysian carving techniques. Spatial organization in this building is clustered organization. Spaces featured in this building: the amphitheater, souvenir shop and exhibition, the craft museum, craft villages, and as we can see, the greenery is covering and shading the pathway of the users throughout their journey within the craft villages.
Moving on to the case study synthesis. For the materials, it is best to use wood cladding. This is because it reduces heat dissipation when temperature rises. Besides that, it absorbs heat efficiently. Furthermore, it is low in maintenance and has good solar and acoustic protection. For the second material is to use glue laminated timber. The advantages are it has better strength than steel and it is highly durable. It is also moisture resistant and capable of generating large pieces and unique shapes. Finally, it is suitable to use on pillars, beams, and stair panels. Moving on is utilizing new wood preservative technologies, since it offers a natural and beautiful look. Not only that, it does not interfere with the wood's final appearance, and it has excellent coating performance. And finally, for the lighting aspect is to incorporate natural lighting in the structure. This is to maximize the amount of solar gain, and it works very well in allowing light and heat in large spaces. Finally, last but not least, is to use artificial lighting. For an example, is by using highlighting. This is to reinforce areas of high contrast and focus. Besides that, it is to give more accent and focus on displayed objects. The site is located at Kampung Sg.Pusu, which is located in Gombak, Selangor, approximately 2.5 km from the International Islamic University, Malaysia. Kampung Sg.Pusu is a small village with a peaceful and serene environment as the village is located at a hilly area. There are plenty of open undeveloped land around Kampung Sg.Pusu, which are occupied with terrace houses, creating a lively and peaceful neighborhood with strong village ambience. As we enter and arrive to the site, we are greeted with a beautiful scenic botanical view of the surrounding natural feature. The type of soil compound at the site consists of mostly sand and gravel. Tall trees provide efficient shading and sound buffering. The site is located in a hilly area and is located next to a steep hill. Clear blue skies and sun shines down beautifully around the site, which gives a sense of tranquility. The site is also located next to a river which flows majestically from the top of the hill, giving the site a feeling of calmness. Moving on to the human and culture analysis. For the strength, the majority of the people living in the area are Malays, which are suitable for the purpose of the building. Secondly, it is located at a village area where traditional arts and crafts are appreciated. As for the weaknesses, the location is located at an undeveloped area. And for the opportunities, it can promote traditional Malay wood carving to the mass public, and it can help provide job opportunities for the villagers. Synthesis, firstly, is to incorporate traditional designs at the Arts and Crafts Centre. Besides that, is to propose a musalla for the user and guests. And lastly, is to include tourism and education facilities to help attract visitors into the area. For the climate analysis, the annual average temperature of Kampung Sg.Pusu is 30.5 degrees Celsius. The average wind speed from November to December in the northeast monsoon is more than 5.8 km per hour, and from July to October is less than 7.6 km per hour. As for the average relative humidity, throughout the year it is 81%, and the average precipitation from all months is 338.725 millimeters. For the strength of the site is windy with an average wind speed of 5.8 km per hour, which would benefit in natural ventilation. As for the weakness, it is hot, rainy and humid throughout the year. And lastly, it has good natural ventilation as the wind is not blowing from the direction of the sun path. For the climate synthesis, firstly, is to build openings obliquely facing towards wind directions. Secondly, having a roof type which is suitable for rainy seasons. Besides that, having cross ventilation in the buildings. And lastly, is to integrate overhangs to shade building openings. For the sensory analysis, the strength is that the site is surrounded by greeneries and has a soothing sound of nature. For the weakness, the trees and bushes are messy and not well maintained. For the opportunity is that we can integrate outdoor nature with the building spaces, which creates a serene working space. For the sensory synthesis, firstly is to improve the landscaping of the site to enhance the beauty of the Arts and Craft Centre. Besides that, eliminating unnecessary bushes and planting suitable plants around the site. Lastly, integrating indoor spaces and nature by making large openings to allow the visitors to enjoy the surrounding view of the environment. For the natural features around the site, the strength is that the existing plants gives a beautiful botanical view surrounding the site. As for the weakness, the terrain of the existing landscape is rough. Even so, the opportunity is that the natural surroundings gives a sense of serenity. And finally, the threats of the site is that it is exposed to dangerous wildlife. And for the natural features synthesis, firstly, the existing plants becomes the natural shades for the buildings. Secondly, is to provide safety rail around the terrain. Thirdly, is to locate the carving space towards the natural surrounding view. And lastly, plant natural shrubs as fences. Moving on to the man-made features analysis. For the strength, firstly, it has an existing water pipe that can be connected to the building. As for the weaknesses, the lack of infrastructures such as roads, electricity, and water supply surrounding the building. And for the opportunity is to provide outdoor resting areas for upcoming visitors. And for the man-made features synthesis, firstly is to propose a TNB substation for electricity for the Arts and Crafts Centre. Besides that, is utilizing the existing clean water supply line for the building. And lastly, is to propose gazebos for visitors for recreational and shading purposes. For the circulation from Besut to Kampung Sg.Pusu, if using the main road via the Malaysia Federal Route 8, the distance is 435 kilometers and the time taken to reach there is 6 hours and 1 minute by car. From KL to Kampung Sg.Pusu, if using the main road via Lebuh Raya Duta Ulu Kelang E33, the distance is 24.9 kilometers and the time taken to reach Kampung Sg.Pusu is 24 minutes by car. For the circulation from the Kraftangan Malaysia Cawangan Selangor to Kampung Sg.Pusu, using the main road via Route 1, the distance will be 22 kilometers and the time taken to reach to the Arts and Crafts Centre is 22 minutes by car. For the circulation from Iium to Kampung Sg.Pusu, if using the main road via Jalan Sg.Pusu, the distance is 3.8 kilometers and the time taken to reach there is 7 minutes by car. For the site analysis of the neighborhood context, the strength is that it is a highly populated area with lots of residential area. As for the weakness, it is the lack of tourism attraction. Furthermore, the opportunities is that it has many empty lots around the neighborhood. And finally, for the threat, in case of an emergency, there are no nearby hospitals. The site synthesis. Firstly, provide enough parking spaces for possible visitors. Secondly, making the Art and Crafts Centre as one of the main tourism attraction in Kampung Sg.Pusu. Besides that, the empty lots can be developed by the developer, such as building a clinic or a hospital. Lastly, creating a hotline directly to the nearest hospital from the centre. Overall, from the site analysis and synthesis, it can be concluded that the surrounding site is breathtakingly scenic, accompanied by the stunning botanical view filled with luscious greeneries of Kampung Sg.Pusu. As for the weakness, Kampung Sg.Pusu with the surrounding villages is in need for maintenance in the existing infrastructure. For the opportunity, it can be a highly visited place for tourism and educational purposes in preserving traditional arts. Therefore, Kampung Sg.Pusu is the most suitable landmark to build the Arts and Crafts Center. In the Quran, verse 190 in Surah Al-Imran, "And to Allah belongs the dominion of the heaven and earth, and Allah is over all things. Indeed, in the creation of heavens and earth, and the alternation of night and day, are signs for those of understanding."